Inside My Radio is a 2D action-adventure indie rhythm platformer. Developed by Seaven Studio and published by Iceberg Interactive, Inside My Radio sees you take on the role of a tiny green LED trapped inside an old broken boombox. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to work your way through the mysterious innards of this boombox and bring the music back, with the help of a few friends along the way. So Inside My Radio is a 2D platformer, but as may be apparent, music plays a big part in the game, right down to the core gameplay. You can move side to side freely, but every other action you perform, whether it be jumping or attacking, etc., has to be done in time with the beat. And other elements of the levels, like obstacles, also move in time with the music. So when performing any kind of action in the game, you do have to make sure you're in time, otherwise you can quickly find yourself being sliced in half by a laser beam or falling to your death. Now that does lead to some frustrating moments where you feel like you weren't really out of time, but were maybe like a few milliseconds out of time, and you end up falling to your death repeatedly. But for the most part, especially when the music really kicks in, it's actually quite satisfying, so those frustrating moments don't really hold it back too much. And when you do pick up the beat, you can't just spam the same beat over and over again throughout the rest of the game. It changes up between levels, as well as the genre of music, so you do have to pay attention to the beat. But if you fail to hit the beat, punishment all depends on where you are when you do that. As I've said, if you're hovering over a bottomless pit, then it's probably not going to go well for you. But if the situation you're in isn't too dire, then you usually get away with missing a beat here or there. And the checkpoint system is pretty regular, so you won't be punished too harshly when you do die. Now the actual controls are pretty straightforward when you look at them. You can jump, dash left or right, and perform mid-air ground slams. And those last two can also be used for traversal as well as attacking. And there are points during the game where you have to combine all three of those actions, and that's where focusing on those combos as well as keeping in time with the beat does become a bit of a challenge. But once you've gotten a handle on the controls, this game won't actually take you that long to finish. It took me around 2 hours, and I was definitely left wanting a little more. There are a few mini games scattered throughout the levels as well, if you find them, which are still rhythm based, and I found were pretty entertaining when I actually got around to them. And there are hidden areas and secrets to discover as well. So there is a certain amount of replayability if you get to the end of your game and you want to go back and find all of those secrets. Now the story, as I've mentioned, you are a green LED trying to fix a boombox, is not really that involved. To be honest, I'd forgotten about any kind of through line or story by the time I was about 10 minutes in. It really just serves as a means to get you into this crazy world the developer wants you to experience. Which is fine, because I didn't really care about the story. I was more involved in the actual gameplay. Where the game shines is its soundtrack and its style. The game looks really vibrant, with colours popping off of the screen, and different levels having some really kind of vibrant neon looks to them. And the actual characters in the game itself are really interesting. They've kind of got a Super Meat Boy-esque kind of style to them. And that's not just because they're square, it's the way they move and the way they talk as well. Everything is designed with simplicity in mind, but it really works with this style and with this kind of blocky neon colour. And this being a very music-centric game, a lot of the characters and a lot of the backgrounds are very influenced by the music scene, and the backgrounds and the characters all work in sync with the soundtrack. And the music is really, really strong. During your time with the game, you will play as 3 different characters. You'll play as a green LED, a jazz funk character, and a Rastafarian character. And each character, when you're playing them, has a very different sound. You'll go from electro music to jazz funk music to reggae dub music. And each of these feel very different yet strangely familiar and still work with the actual core gameplay mechanics, which is really good. And the tracks themselves are really catchy and really fun, which is so important considering how much this game relies on music. Now I cannot recommend Inside My Radio enough, because I had a great time playing it. It was really fun, the characters were really interesting, and the time that I did spend with it I really enjoyed. And it's a shame, because the real reason that I'm going to have to score it a little bit lower than I perhaps would have done is because I really enjoyed it, but it left me wanting so much more. I wanted to explore different genres of music, I wanted to find more characters and more enemy types, more bosses, and by the time the end credits rolled, I really feel like I hadn't experienced an entire game. I was left just wanting even more of it, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing, because I really enjoyed the game. So what's here is really good. It's really fun, the music's great, the game looks great, the overall style is just really, really interesting. There's just not enough of it. But I suppose if the one negative you can really find in a game is you want to play more of it, I suppose that's not really a negative. It's just an incentive for the developers to go out there and make more of this, which I really hope they do, because I'd love to see this game expanded on, I'd love to see this world expanded on, and I really hope we see more of this. So Inside My Radio is a game I would highly recommend. It's definitely worth your time, and hopefully we'll see more of it in the future. Thanks for watching. Hi guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, comment and subscribe. All that stuff really does help me out, and I'll hopefully see you next time on the Mews.